Good morning, everyone. My name is Hailey Zheng, and I'm a senior at the Bishop School in La Jolla, California. Thank you all for being here today. I'll be presenting my research project titled The Effect of Sleep on Cognitive Function in Adolescents and Older Adults, which I conducted under the mentorship of Dr. Myra Karen. I chose this topic because, like many high schoolers, I definitely don't get enough sleep, and I wanted to understand how being sleep deprived affects my learning, memory, and brain health. At the same time, I've always been fascinated by neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, so I wanted to expand my research to older adults and see how sleep might contribute to cognitive decline later in life. And by comparing both age groups, I hope to understand how sleep affects brain health across the lifespan. Here's a shocking statistic that surprised me. In 2019, 78% of US high school students reported getting less than the recommended 8 hours of sleep on school nights. That means most teens are consistently sleep deprived, which has major implications for learning and mental health. This led me to my two research questions. How does sleep affect cognitive abilities like memory, attention, and decision making in adolescents? And my second research question, how does sleep quality impact the rate of cognitive decline in older adults? My hypothesis was that adolescents with adequate sleep would perform better on memory, attention, and decision-making tasks, while older adults with consistent, high-quality sleep would show slower cognitive decline, especially in memory and executive functions. So, why sleep matters? Sleep is not just rest, it's also an active biological process. It supports memory consolidation, attention, emotional regulation, and even physical health. For adolescents, it's crucial for brain development and mental health. And for older adults, poor sleep is closely tied to faster cognitive decline, including diseases like dementia. In summary, my research review showed that adolescents and older adults are both uniquely vulnerable to poor sleep. In adolescents, insufficient sleep harms brain development, academic performance, and emotional regulation. In older adults, poor sleep quality and abnormal sleep durations are linked to a faster decline and a greater risk of neurodegenerative disease. Depression often interacts with sleep disturbances, making outcomes worse in both groups. Overall, the literature shows that sleep is a modifiable factor, meaning we can change it and by doing so, improve our cognitive health. To explore this topic, I conducted a literature review using Google Scholar. I searched terms such as sleep, cognitive function, adolescents, and older adults. I focused mainly on research from the past 10 years, although I also included some earlier foundational studies. I looked at both individual studies and meta-analyses to get a broad perspective. These were my findings for adolescents. So in adolescence, I found several important trends. Puberty naturally shifts circadian rhythms later, so teens go to bed late but still have to wake up early for school. Chronic sleep deprivation impairs memory, attention, emotional regulation, and academic performance. Short-term sleep loss reduces attention and executive function. Long-term sleep loss, on the other hand, actually alters brain connectivity and reduces gray matter volume, which affects thinking and learning. So the effects aren't just short term, they can actually impact long term brain development. In older adults, the story looks a little bit different, but also just as serious. Poor sleep quality, insomnia, or abnormal sleep durations, either too short or too long, are all linked to declines in memory, attention, and executive function. There's a U shaped relationship where both very short and very long sleep predict worse outcomes. Daytime behaviors like excessive napping and sleepiness also matter. Emotional factors like depression often amplify the effects of poor sleep. And importantly, objective measures like actigraphy show even stronger links than self-reported sleeps. Altogether, sleep is critical for cognitive health across the lifespan. For adolescents, insufficient sleep impairs learning, attention, and brain development. For older adults, poor sleep accelerates cognitive decline. The research is strong but has some limitations. For example, many studies rely on self-reported data or they don't include diverse samples. Looking ahead, I believe future studies should use more objective measures of sleep, include broader populations, and take a lifespan perspective. We also need to explore new strategies like later school start times for teenagers or cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia in older adults. My main takeaway is this: sleep is not optional. It's one of the most powerful tools we have to protect brain health. And by improving sleep, we can support healthy development in adolescence and slow cognitive decline in aging. In other words, sleep is medicine for the brain. These are the main sources I use for my review. Um, Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. I agree with you. I think sleep is very important. I make sure to get plenty of sleep myself. I have a question. What are simple things that teenagers and older adults can do to improve their sleep quality?
To improve sleep quality, you can sleep in a dark room and make sure the temperature is cool so it's not too hot or too cold so you're very comfortable when you're sleeping. And it's better to go to bed earlier than later to get the best sleep.
Have you changed your sleep patterns after all of your research?
Yes, I've been trying to change my sleep patterns.
Okay. And to do what? Like to get more sleep, go earlier, like what are the changes that you've made?
I've been trying to go to sleep earlier so that I can get more sleep, and I've noticed that that has impacted my academic performance positively.
Amazing. Great.